Did you know that there is an actual blueprint when it comes to real estate investing? I mean, 3 basic steps that will give you a lot of understanding as far as how to get started, especially if you're a beginner. I remember that when I started about roughly about like almost 10 years ago now, it was pretty complicated to me when I was thinking about buying a house and all the things I had to go through, appraisal, contractors, attorneys. However, if you could simplify it and just look at it from a bird's eye view, these 3 steps will give you just a better mindset of what to expect. And yes, there's a ton of things that fall into it. However, I want to give you just a overview of what to look for so that you are not overwhelmed and you have just like a roadmap, a starting point of how to get started, and you're not just like feeling stuck with like this analysis paralysis. So let's jump right into it with step 1. Clarity. I want you to get clear on what exactly form of real estate investing that you want to do. Me personally, I'm a buy and hold investor, but there's plenty of other options. I know investors who do tax liens. I know investors who go to auctions. I know investors who do fix and flips. Get clear on what works for you. There's pros and cons to both. Me personally, I don't like to manage contractors. I've done it before. I've gut renovated entire homes. However, I don't want that to be my day-to-day business. Some people prefer that because there's a high profit margin in a short span of time. So once you do a flip, I know investors who do 3 flips a year and they make about $50,000 to $90,000 per flip. So they do a flip, they go on vacation, they come back, do a flip, they go on vacation again, and they're good for the year. I'm more so of a long-term type of guy, so I'm thinking about retirement, and I'm thinking about when that mortgage is paid off and that income that I receive. So get to know what works for you based on your personality, based on your wallet, because there's pros and cons to each. But once you have this clarity though, you can better map out where you want to go after that, because everything changes depending on which side you pick. It's going to determine which locations you want to invest in. It's going to determine the type of financing, the people you work with. So get clear on what type of investor you want to be, and then everything else becomes a whole lot easier. All right, let's jump to step 2, the deal and the numbers. This is important as well. When I say the deal, I want you to understand everything that comes with purchasing this property. For example, if you're going to do fix and flips, right, I want you to know, are there any violations on this property that's going to prevent you from selling it once you get it, or prevent you from buying it? How's the roof? How much repairs is needed? Or is it a big job, or is it just carpet and paint? Are you buying it with tenants? There's so much that's around the deal that I want you to be aware of so that you can purchase, with confidence. And then when I say numbers, I want you to know as much as humanly possible about the history of this property. And I want you to know as much as possible when it comes to running the numbers in this property. So obviously you want to know what's your down payment going to be like, what's your closing cost going to be like, insurance, taxes. A lot of this is public information, and if it's not public information, you can get it, right? Speak to contractors to see what will they quote for a bathroom and a kitchen. Speak to other homeowners to see what they've paid for recently for a bathroom and a kitchen. Look up your county website to figure out where you can get the taxes. For the insurance, there's websites such as lemonade.com. I'll link it below. I'm not affiliated with them, but you could put in the property information and they'll spit out a quote back at you as far as what it will cost to insure this property. Or if you want to speak to someone, call up insurance companies and say, hey, can I get a quote for this property? They're going to ask you basic stuff about the property, such as, does it have an alarm system? Is there a pool in the backyard? What kind of roof does it have? And then they'll give you a quote of what it will cost to insure that property. I want you to know, is it in the flood insurance area? Because you'll need insurance, homeowners insurance, and you also need flood insurance. So get stringent on the numbers. And if you want a video where how I show you how to run numbers to see if it's actual property or cash flow that I see, to see if it's worth it for me to buy, just leave a comment below, because I don't want to overwhelm you in this video, but you want to focus on the deal and the numbers, and it literally takes practice, right? Just keep on practicing as far as how the numbers work and what to expect. You'll start to learn in certain areas what the average home price is, what the average insurance is based on if it's a 2-family, 3-family, or 4-family, and then you'll get better. You'll be able to look at it. You'll be able to walk down the street, look at a property, and say, okay, this will only be a deal if I could purchase it for this price. This would be a deal depending on the amount of repairs needed, and I know repairs will cost this amount. So step 1, clarity. Step 2, the deal and the numbers. Now let's jump to step 3. Step 3 is the money. And when I say the money, this is different from the numbers. I put money as number 3 because I believe that the numbers and the deal is way more important than the money. Not way more important, but I believe that I'm a firm believer, if you have a good deal, that you can find the money. Let me give you an example. Let's say you live in a neighborhood where on average the homes are worth $1 million. But someone approaches you and says, hey, in that same neighborhood, I'll sell you my home for $500,000. If you were to go to an investor, a bank, a lender, private money, and say, hey, I have this deal for this house for $500,000, but it's worth $1 million. Most investors are going to give you the money to support that deal. Why? Because they know they'll make money as well, because the spread is so large. You're talking about $500,000. Unless to get that property up to speed with the rest of the neighborhood, it's going to cost you another $500,000 or $400,000, then maybe it's not such a good deal. However, in most cases, if you get that house for $500,000 and you put $200,000 worth of work in it, there's a spread of $300,000. So most investors will help you. The deal comes first, in my opinion. So when we're talking about the money, there's a few things that I want you to focus on. I want you to get some cost. I want you to figure out what your down payment is going to be. I want you to know what your closing cost is going to be. I want you to know attorney fees, right? Appraisal fees, inspection fees, anything that's going to cost you out of pocket. I want you to know what type of financing are you going to use. If you're doing fix and flip, are you doing hard money? Are you doing business lines of credit? Are you doing private money? I want you to know if you're doing a buy and hold rental and you're getting a 30-year mortgage, what's your down payment going to be? Are you going to need a down payment? Are you going to do FHA? And if you're doing a fix and flip, you could combine the two, right? FHA has a program called 203K where you could renovate an entire property using their 203K loan, and they'll give you the money for the renovations, but you still get a 30-year mortgage as long as you live in the house for the first year. So you want to figure out your money. It's almost like your exit plan. This deal, what method of financing will you use to purchase this property? What do you have right now? What's your credit score like now? And what options are available to you so that you can purchase this property? Get real strict on your numbers and your money. This is super important because you don't want any surprises. You want to know what the insurance is going to cost, the flood insurance. You want to know what the repairs are going to cost, how much it's going to cost to replace this roof and this boiler. You want to know what type of financing is available to you. That way there's no surprises, and then you can walk in confidently knowing that you actually purchased the deal. So these are the 3 steps. Let's go over it one more time. For step 1, clarity. Get real focused on what exactly it is that you want to do when it comes to real estate investing. Pick a niche, and it's not to say that you have to stick to this forever, but it's to pick something that you get good at, that you could work on, and then you could maybe branch off later on, but you want to get your foot in somewhere. Step 2, the deal and the numbers. Understand what you're getting with this property, violations, tenants, what's coming with this property, and the numbers as far as how much it's going to cost to get it to where you want it to be. Step number 3, the money. How will you actually buy this property? Hard money, lines of credit, credit cards, traditional financing. Figure those things out. And yes, there's a ton of other things that come into play when it comes to real estate investing. I'm well aware. However, this is the bird's eye view of what you have to expect when it comes to the process of buying a property. And this will get you clarity. You could break everything down afterwards, but get these basic steps down first, and then you'll be in a lot better position to acquire some real estate. I really hope this helps. I really hope you have a little bit more clarity on this. And if there's anything else that you would like to know further, just drop in a comment below and I'll do my best to get to it and make a video on it. I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next video.